BMW 2016, and today we're going to talk about the process of changing the valve cover gasket. And after I did quite a bit of research, people recommend to change the whole, to use a whole brand new cover, just because it has a PVC pipe or PCV pipe, or valve that that's integrated into the top of the valve cover, and over time that gets bad, and you ended up having to replace the cover, and it's kind of a pain to go through them. So I went ahead and bought a new one, but you can see there's a lot of things that need to come out, and I didn't exactly sure what the order was, so I'm just making a video of how to put things back, and you guys can look at the reverse order to take it apart. So anyway, you're looking into the valve assembly, and I'm just getting ready to put the valve cover back. And so there were fuel rails that are on top. There's all this electronic that goes on top that comes over, and then it's got plug into all these the injectors and the coil and all that. So everything needs to be disconnected and moved over. The whole process took me about 3 hours so far, just to tear everything down, and now it's a matter of putting it back. So just a warning, this is not an easy job, not a typical valve replacement, valve cover gasket replacement. It gets pretty involved. You can see like several pieces I had to take out. That's the old valve cover. All this intake stuff needs to come off. This is the new one. This is a new valve cover, and this is the piece I was talking about, the PCV valve. And this thing does go bad. There's a little rubber disc inside that over time it gets bad, and then it causes pressure build up inside, which causes your gasket to leak. So this is a new one. This is the front of the engine. You get those 4 bolts, and then there's several bolts that are on the sides. In the back, very difficult to get to the 3 of these. And just a warning, I missed one of these 3 because I couldn't see it, and I couldn't just get it out. It took me like a good half an hour trying to figure out why it hung up in the back. But I finally found, I think that was this one that wasn't backed off. And after I get that, everything came out okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cover back into the car, and then we start assembling all the components. Okay, so I got the valve cover to go back on, and the best way to do this is that you start from somewhere in the middle, and you maneuver it over, lift it up, and then towards the back, maneuver over. You can't go straight in and drop down because there's a lot of interferences down here. So you start somewhere on this corner, make sure this lays on top, and then get it in. It's very tight, so this took me a good 5 minutes to get it in. So at this point, I'm gonna make sure that all my gaskets are lined up, and then start torquing these. The manual says 7 foot-pounds, so not a whole lot. Make sure you don't over torque them. I'm just gonna go through and torque all this stuff down. There's like a bunch of bolts there need to be tightened down. So I went ahead and torqued all these bolts to 7 foot-pounds, or is roughly 85 inch-pounds. Make sure you get a torque wrench for that. It's kind of a pain to go and torque them all because there's just not a whole lot of room, but you can get to it. I did it, so you should be able to get it done as well. Best way to work like way further back there, just to lay on the car and put your belly right here, and then you got your hands free to kind of both hands to get in there and maneuver and try to reach, because like the bolts in the back, you won't be able to see it, you just need to feel it. I went ahead and put a wire back. This was over on that side. I got it out of the way to make some room, and then I brought it all back. The connections are not too bad. So there's 6 cylinders, so there's 2 for each one of these bay, and basically these are coils. This comes up real easy. You pull this up like that. You see that, and then the electrical connector come out. So I just put it back there. So 2 of these comes out, and there's 2 of these other connectors. I'm pretty sure it's some kind of sensor. It's a 2-wire sensor, so 1 of each. So you disconnect those 2, and here's a ground for each one of this bay. So you take them all out, and then this whole thing comes off, and you should, when you disassemble it, you just take this and yank it all the way on that side. So go ahead and put all those on, torque those down. You can see that these are the fuel rails. So I want to make sure I cover them up. I only have a few of these black ones that I can cover, so the rest I just use tape. Just make sure you don't have dirt stuff falling in there, because the ejector is going to get plugged up. So at this point, I'll go ahead and put this seal on, and BMW recommends to put a new seal on, and it goes right here. It goes like that, and put two nuts on, 2 bolts on. Now I gotta remember which side is the top. Something on here. I think that's the bottom. That's the top. Yeah. So squeeze them on like that, and put the 2 nuts on. 2 bolts. I keep calling this nuts. Okay, so get those on there. I'm not gonna do that, it's just wasting your time. So make sure you get those secured. Then not sure what the plan is next. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the fuel rails back. Yep, when I get that done, I'll show that to you. Okay, so here's your fuel rails, and it looked like this. So the fuel is coming from this side, and then it's get distributed to these, into the 6 cylinders, and the rails are sitting like that. There's got to be, okay, so you connect these 2, make sure it's below. I'm gonna have to maneuver it to get these on top, and the electrical wires out of the way. So basically this got hooked up to these ports right here. That's what I'm gonna do next, just get them reinstalled. It didn't take much to break them out, so make sure you don't over torque these. Okay, so I torqued up all the fuel rails, and there's 6 of these connectors that you need to torque them up. Good torque, but don't over torque them. You know, you don't want to damage these connectors. And then there's 1 more here. That's the main one that's coming in. You gotta take care of that. Something just fell down here. Okay, just the wire. All right, so what did I do? So there's 2 bolts, 1 here, 1 back here, that I put them on, and this is what holding this wire loom together. So I put those 2 bolts back on, get these all secured. There's a bracket back here. This bracket right here, there's a bolt right down here. You put it on, torque it, and that's what's holding these two connectors. And I disconnected this. These two wires were down there. I brought them up, connect to these from the other side. So now we're starting to get all the wiring organized. So next I'm gonna work on these two right here. These two big ones. There's this little plastic piece that will hold them up, and I'm gonna get them under there, get it raised up away from the heat. All right, let me get that done, and I'll show you guys what's next. Okay, guys, so while I'm in here with everything already been taken apart, I decided to just replace the spark plug. You know, this car already has 80-something thousand miles on it, so probably a good time to replace it. And it's really simple. These connectors already disconnected, but if you haven't, just pull that, get this out, and just put your hand on here, and you should be able to just pull the coil right up. I've seen some YouTube videos where people sticking, like, you know, a wrench extension or something in here and lift it up. I didn't like it so much because this hinges looks flimsy, and I didn't want to break anything. So just grab on below with your hand. Should be able to pull it just like that. And so that's my coil. Looks a little dirty, but should be fine. I pulled a couple of these already. The spark plug looked like this. And so you're gonna have to go to the automotive store and get a special wrench for this. This is a 12 point. It's not the 5/8 that you typically see. And I picked this up from AutoZone, and it's a 14 millimeter. Not sure you can read it, but it has a thin wall. It's extremely thin, 12 point, and this is the only thing that will get through. I think I paid like $15 or something for this and another wrench, another socket that goes together. So back them out and torque them back up to 22 foot-pound. You should be good to go. All right, guys. So I forgot to cover the fuel rails bolts a few minutes ago when I was talking about fuel rails. So there's 4 of these bolts. There's one here, there's one here, there's a couple of more down there that you also need to get it on and torqued. So these are what really retaining this whole rails, and that not letting it vibrate. So make sure you get these bolts on, secure them. So let's see, what else did I do? So there's 2 large cables right here. There's mounting points that are there's one there, and there's another bolt right there. There's 2 on the other side. You probably can see it right there. There's like 2 of those. Once you get them secured, get that line raised just so the heat is not affecting it. These foam that's under everything, and I just, it's too hard for me to get it back, so this foam's right here. I decided just to leave it out. It probably there just to isolate the heat, and this is like, it's under there, but it's really hard to get them in and situated, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it out. So that's where we're at. Okay, so next, I put this lower air filter assembly on, and there's 3 taps on the bottom. I think there's 2 here, 1 back there, and basically you just push it down and it snaps on. Real easy. Now to remove it, you just like simply pull this up from the front and back, and it should come right out. Next, this cover gonna go on. It'll go on just like that. And there are this bolts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of these that you just bolted down, and that's gonna go in. And then this piece is gonna go in next. And what this does is it's gonna meet up with this piece right here, right down here, and then you can loop it down that way, down. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it and show you guys what that looked like. Okay guys, I'm just about done here. I'm just gonna go over what I did since last time. So this piece is just the intake. These will snap right out. So you just pop it right in. This leads to the air filter box, and it's connected by this piece right here. And there's this tap right here. To remove them, you just take a screwdriver in here and pry it out. To install it, you just like clamp it together with your hands, and then just get a vice grip and pull this into place, and it'll snap in. It's just a couple of snaps right here. This comes out, and then you pull this piece out. So this doesn't go into this. Like this piece is connecting these two pieces together. Real simple. And then so this piece and this piece, I didn't take them apart. I left this assembly on. I just loosened this bolt right here, and then of course this one. And this piece is connected down here. You can see there's a clamp down there. And so yeah, it just brings this piece in and reconnecting. I believe this piece is called a crankcase vent holes or something like that. You need to buy a new one. My old one cracked, so I just throw it away. Got a new one. Not very expensive. I think I paid like $30 or something like that for that. So, and this tab broke anyway when you try to remove this. So with a new one, there's 4 of these. You just snap them right on. And then on this side, there's 2 bolts that you just have to retorque them when you put them in. There's a sensor wire right here that you need to reconnect. And then this right here, it monitors some kind of pressure or something like that, or vacuum, not sure. But this gets reconnected. This is routing all the way to the other side. This wire right here is connecting to the back of this piece. So I think it's a mass airflow sensor. So just make sure you reconnect that. Let me see what else. I think that's it. So last thing I need to do is, oh, by the way, you need to transfer these 2 pieces. There's one here and one here from the old valve cover, if you decide to put a new valve cover on. I highly recommend it. The old one is not worth trying to cut this piece out and glue another one on. This is so much work. You just get a new one. And so last thing to do is just pop this piece on, and you're done. So this piece is just like, it's got a couple of taps here. You just tap right here, you push them on, and then this go over the oil cap. And then there's a couple of places where I show you that you need to transfer the bolts. So it snaps into those 2 places, and you are pretty much done. So overall, this took me about, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours, just because it's the first time I'm doing it. it might take you longer, it might take you shorter, but it's definitely worth doing it yourself. The dealer quoted us $3,800 for the job. That's including a new the new valve cover and the gasket, and that's it. So the labor is over $2,000. For me, I could have spent about 150, 120, matter of fact, on Amazon for a reproduction, but I didn't. I went to the dealer and I bought a new one, and that cost me $530 something. Worth every penny to buy OEM. I don't trust aftermarket stuff. And then so this $30, and then I think that's about it. And then I went ahead and changed all the spark plugs. That cost me $200. It's worth it, while you have all this ripped out. Just go ahead and change your spark plug. You have high miles on it. So all in all, it's cost me $700 and something versus $3,800, and that's not even including a tune-up with new spark plug. Yeah, like I say, you have some patience. Just do one thing at a time. Make sure you retorque everything to spec. You should be good to go. Do you have any questions on certain things? Just put it in the comment section, and I'll answer them the best I can. Thanks for watching.